got some midweek Premier League action this week as we've got 10 fixtures spread across 3 games as the Premier League is getting tasty at the top, tasty in the middle and tasty down at the bottom. Then going into the weekend, we've got some FA Cup action for a lot of Premier League teams, and we've got some FA action for the likes of Spurs. And yes, I know I've used that joke before in a previous video, but I liked it. I'm using it again. And recycling is important in 2026. So don't say I don't do my bit here on Tartan Geo. But let's get into it. Bournemouth hosting Brentford. The Cherries have won 4 and drawn 4 of the last 8, losing just once in the last 7 home league games as well. Coming up against a Brentford team, the surprise package of this season. Winning 3 and drawing 1 in the last 5. Winning 5 of the last 6. Both teams are in decent nick at the minute for different reasons. Bournemouth start the season incredible, then they went a period where they just could not win. Then they've got their form back together, sitting 10th in the league and the outsiders, if you like, for European football. And I like them. I like a lot of what Bournemouth are doing. Very entertaining game against Sunderland on Saturday as well. Coming against Brentford, who have rewarded Keith Andrews with a long-term contract to say thank you very much and well done for the season so far. But there's still a long way to go. They are 7th in the league. European football for Brentford is a strong, strong possibility. Who'd have thought this would have been a European race game with 10 fixtures to go this season? Not too many. I think some people might have had Bournemouth, but not too many would have had Brentford where they are right now. But they keep surprising people, and I love it. Going 3-0 up away to Burnley. Wow, incredible. Then it's 3-3. Wow, incredible. Then it's 4-3 Burnley. Gets disallowed. 4-3 Brentford. Very late on. Wow, incredible. Then it's 4-4. But that gets disallowed as well. I like Brentford. Brentford are a fun team right now. They are scoring goals. And just looking at the fixtures on Tuesday, I will likely watch Leeds Sunderland for obvious reasons. But if I was not, if West Ham didn't have a dog in the fight for the relegation, I'd maybe be opting for the Bournemouth-Brentford game. I think this one could be a bit of an entertainer. My prediction is Bournemouth 2, Brentford 2, and I would like your prediction as well, please. In the comments below, the pinned comments, list of all 10 fixtures and in the description. I put in 2 places. I made it really easy for you. Copy, paste, slap your predictions on there, and the winner will receive a prize next week here on this channel. Right, off to the Hill Dickinson Stadium as Everton host Burnley. Everton's last 4 wins have come away from home. It's quite unusual, that, isn't it? Not won at home since the start of December, drawn 2 and losing 5 in that period. And an incredible win in terms of the magnitude of the result away at St James's Park. Winning 3-2, and I know Newcastle's not in great form, but Everton have now picked up the 2nd most points away from home in the league so far this season. Away from home, Barcelona. At home, not very good. I couldn't think of a crap team off the top of my head. I was going to say Spurs, and I thought this is just becoming bullying. But do you know what? Bit like Spurs at home, aren't they? They're just struggling a little bit to turn the Hill Dickinson into a tough place to go. But I think this might be a good fixture for them. And Burnley, to be fair, they're not in bad form at the minute. They've only won 1 of the last 18 games. Doesn't sound like great form, does it? However, they have also only lost 1 of their previous 4 away games. Entertaining, unlucky not to get anything against Brentford. Didn't watch the games. I can't comment if they deserved it or not. And here's the thing about the 2 teams that look like they're pretty much relegated now in Burnley and Wolves. Even if you want to include West Ham in that, be my guest. Let's include West Ham in that. I'm not going to show any bias here. Let me step back. If you take the 3 teams that are likely to get relegated, Wolves, Burnley and West Ham, I'll tell you what, they're going to upset a few people. They're going to have a say. They're going to have a say in the European race. They might even have a say in the title race. They're going to upset a few teams between now and the end of the season. They're not giving up, and they are capable. They are capable of not quite beating anyone, but stopping teams winning. Even if we're not going to pick up too many wins between us between now and the end of the season, what we will do is stop teams winning. The relegated teams are going to piss off a lot of fan bases between now and the end of the season. I can promise you that. Well, I can't. It's not in my hands. I feel very confident about my prediction there. As for this one, Everton if you want European football, you've got to win this, and I think they will. Everton 2, Burnley 0. Off to Elland Road. Leeds United have lost 2 of their last 9 games, winning 4 of their... Winning 4. Oh, that's it. Sorry, there you go. That's the statistic. I write down small points and add in words to pack it out, you see. Let me start that again. Leeds have lost 2 of their last 9, winning 4. There we go. They've lost 2 of the last 3 at Elland Road, but they were against Manchester City and Arsenal, so I think we can forgive them for that. As for Sunderland, they've not won away since October when they won at Stamford Bridge, drawn 4 and losing 5 in that period since, only scoring 7 goals in the Premier League away from the Stadium of Light. So goal shy on the road, don't pick up too much points. Going away to a team that don't lose very often at home, under the lights at Elland Road. But Sunderland have actually got a not too shabby record against Leeds United, and Daniel Farke has got a pretty poor record against Sunderland, including his time at Norwich City as well. So the statistics say Sunderland will get something, Sunderland will get maybe even a win. Well, since when do I pay attention to statistics? Well, quite often. I include them for every game, don't I? But stats are, well, they're just that. Things that have happened in the past. We're not talking about, well, we are, but we are trying to predict what's going to happen in the future. Stats, smats, right? Who cares? I think Leeds United are going to win this one. I think they're going to win this one quite comfortably because of the way the fixtures lie as well. Should Leeds United win, they'll go 9 points clear of relegation. And Sunderland are just getting a little bit closer to that 40-point mark, which would have been their aim at the start of the season. That's why I keep stressing, even though things aren't great at Sunderland right now, they're still well on course for achieving their season target really, really early. If, I think on 37 points, if you offered Sunderland fans 37 points after 28 games, they would bit your hand off for it at the start of the season. They're well on track to achieve what they want to do, but I don't think they're going to do that on Tuesday night. Leeds United 3, Sunderland 1. And Wolves host Liverpool. Wolves have only lost 1 of their last 5 after winning their second Premier League game of the season by beating Aston Villa. They've won 2, drawn 2 and lost 2 of their previous 6 at Molineux, coming up against a Liverpool team who have won 6 of the last 7. And in that 7 games, they've kept 4 clean sheets. And on 4 occasions, they've won the game by 3 or more goals. So Liverpool are bang in form. Wolves are, well, they're no longer getting battered week in, week out. I think it's progress, isn't it? They've gone from getting beat every single game to actually being competitive in every single game. And I think that is progress. And I appreciate you're going from rock bottom to not quite rock bottom. But if you look at the form table over the last 5 games or something, I think Wolves are 13th. So form-wise, they're okay. That's what I said earlier. They're gonna take points off teams. They may not win many games, but they will. In the next 10 games, I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, they win 2, draw 3. They'll still lose 5, but that 5 games, teams will be looking at Wolves thinking, must win. No one's going to look at Wolves, with greatest respect, given the circumstances, and go, oh, if we don't win that game, it's okay. No one's thinking that. If anyone's playing for something this season, they're looking at Wolves, Burnley, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, naturally going, we have to win that game, because they do. If you want European football, you've got to win this type of fixture. And I think Liverpool will do just that, but only just. I'm going to say Wolves 0, Liverpool 1. Moving on to Wednesday night's games, and we're going to start with Villa Park as Aston Villa welcome Chelsea, and the pressure is on. Aston Villa now just dropping down to 4th in the Premier League, and they've got 3 points ahead of Liverpool, 6 points ahead of Chelsea, the opponents on that night. So a big game for Aston Villa. Just 1 win in their last 5 domestic games at Villa Park. It's not great, but they've got a weird record against teams in the top 6. So far this season, they've won 4 and lost just 2 at Villa Park against teams in the top 6 when they played them. Chelsea, 3 without a win in the league, 2 draws. And they've not beat a team that are in the top half pre-fixtures of that round. They've not beat a team in the top half away from home this season, which feels feels wrong, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like a statistic that's true. But it is. I've double-checked that one because I read it and thought, that doesn't feel true. Villa are just fatigued, a bit stale. Emery's a bit erratic. Didn't shake Rob Edwards' hand at full time on Friday night. I don't like behaviour like that. Stuff like that I do not like. I think that's petty and I think it's lacking class. I think it was unnecessary as well. Sure, he had these frustrations with how the game went and officials and stuff, but I still think come the full time whistle, shake the hand of the man in the opposite dugout to you and move on with it. I didn't like that. They need a win. It's an absolute must-win. It's a must-win for both of these teams, actually. As for Chelsea, they're just unconvincing, aren't they? They made a game of it against Arsenal, but here you go. Here's your trophy for making a game of it against Arsenal. You've got knocked out of Carabao Cup by them. You lost to them in the league, but there's your trophy. Well done for putting in effort and nearly getting something, but not quite getting something. It needs to be better from Chelsea if they want Champions League football, and it needs to be better from Aston Villa if they want to have Champions League football as well. A difficult one to call. When that happens, go down the middle. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 1. Brighton hosting Arsenal. Back-to-back wins for Brighton now, starting to stitch together a little bit of form. They're still in contention for those European spots with the assumption it'll come down to 6, 7, possibly even 8 as well. Just lost once at home against teams above them. Interesting fact for you. Winning 2 and drawing 3 in that period. Arsenal unbeaten in 6, winning 4 and drawing 2. 7 without defeat away, winning 4 and drawing 3 of those games. And every game, it just feels like big pressure on Arsenal. Now, the slight advantage they've got in comparison to the previous few weeks, Arsenal, is that City play at the same time as them, not the day previous like we have done. And I think that puts immense pressure on Arsenal, that they've watched City win. They've had to think about it. They've had to sit with it for 24 hours at least before they kick off their game. That puts huge attention on them. And I think there's a lot of desire to see them let this slip. I think there's a desire from a lot of fan bases to see Arsenal not to win the title. Brighton, I've got something to play for. And here's the thing, between now and the end of the season, I'm going to do a video about this. It was going to be the international break. Maybe I'll do it during the FA Cup week. Nearly every team is playing for something. There's hardly any teams right now that you would class as on the beach, dead rubber games. There's so many teams down the bottom. There's 2 in the title race, but there's a few for Champions League football. And that pack underneath, there's a lot of teams in there. At this point, with 10 games to go, how many teams are not playing for anything? I think you could say Crystal Palace, and I think you could say Sunderland. But then Palace have got the European football. But in terms of the domestic games, maybe just those 2. I think Leeds are getting close to that period as well. But that's about it. Take your other one. Newcastle, Brentford, Everton, Bournemouth, Brighton, European football. Loads of teams are playing for something here, which I think makes up for a good run-in the league. For this one, I'm going to say Brighton 1, Arsenal 2. They're just a bloody good team, Arsenal. And, well, they're getting a little bit cheaty with their set pieces and referees aren't doing anything. So sorry, Brighton, you're going to concede a corner where you watch all your players get grappled and the referee does nothing about it. Moving on to Fulham against my team, West Ham United. Fulham could win 3 in a row for just the second time since the beginning of 2023. 2 back-to-back wins. Again, they were in great form, weren't they? And then they were in 3 defeats in a row, I think it was. Back-to-back wins now. So they're in contention for European football as well. Coming up against, actually, hang on, I've got another Fulham fact. Winning 5 of the last 7 at Craven Cottage. Coming up against a West Ham team who, perhaps interestingly, we've scored 2 or more in 5 of our last 7 games. Important. Scoring goals is important. But if we lose this game, we will equal how many games we lost away from home in the Premier League last season. A disappointing defeat to Liverpool. I don't feel like it was a 5-2 game, but we were okay, but Liverpool weren't top class to beat us. Against the Fulham side who are looking quite dangerous at the minute. I've got a bad feeling about this. We need to win. This is a must win for West Ham. It's as simple as that. I'm not sure we will. I'm going to say Fulham 1, West Ham 1. Manchester City hosting Nottingham Forest. Man City now won 4 in a row, winning 16 of their last 19 at home, losing 1. Nottingham Forest 2 points off the relegation zone. And here's a strange but interesting fact for you. If Nottingham Forest do not win at the Etihad, Vitor Pereira, he will equal the second longest consecutive streak for a manager going without a win in the same campaign due to those games he had as Wolves manager at the beginning of the season. So he will be the second longest one. Nottingham Forest have lost 5 of their last 7 aways. I thought they looked quite busy against Brighton for the first 15-20 minutes. They looked good for the first half against Arsenal the previous week. But they've just got too many players in that squad. On paper, they look like a good player, like Bakwa and Jesus, but actually watching them, not really doing it at the minute, are they? Man City are a machine. This is when Man City tend to hit their top form, isn't it? This running, they'll be enjoying chasing Arsenal down. They'll be enjoying putting the pressure on. They need someone to do a favour. But if I was a City fan, I'd be quite confident Arsenal are going to slip up at some point between now and the end of the season. They've just got to be ready to pounce, and I think they will be. Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Newcastle United hosting Manchester United at St James's Park is now just 1 win in their last 7 Premier League games for Newcastle, losing 5. They are in stinky form, Newcastle United. Man United now 3rd unbeaten in 11 games, winning 7 and drawing 4 of those. Plus, Man United have lost just 1 of their last 11 away games, winning 5 on the road. Things are not good at St James's Park. I've been saying it for a few weeks now. It just feels off. It just feels stale. Too many poor performers in that starting 11 for Newcastle. Nick Pope, Kevin Trippier, Walter Matthäus not being played correctly. Anthony Gordon. There's just too many underperformers. Bruno injured. They're missing him as well. Coming up against a Man United team who Bruno Fernandes in top form. Cunha's not firing really, but he's not needing to. Sesko with another goal. Man, you're impressive at the minute. Newcastle United, one of the more disappointing teams in the league this season as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go for a bit of an obscure prediction on this one because it came into my head. Newcastle United 2, Manchester United 4. Moving on to Thursday's game, we're off to Tottenham as Spurs host Crystal Palace. Spurs have got the 3rd worst home form in the Premier League, winning 2, drawing 4 and losing 8. Lost 8 of their previous 13 games in the Premier League, which is the joint worst with Crystal Palace. Did that pause work? I feel like I paused for too long there, but I was trying to add a little bit of excitement. You know, who else? It's Palace. These 2 teams have lost 8 of their last 13. Crystal Palace, interestingly though, have only lost 1 of their last 9 away London derbies, winning 5 and drawing 5. And they should feel a little bit mugged off against with that defeat against Man United. Missing Lacroix for this game as well. That's a big, big loss. I see that Palace back 3 on paper, I assume it'll be Riyad. I don't know how you pronounce his name, the French one. Canvot, and then Richards. I assume it'll be that. Doesn't feel. I don't look at it and think, yeah, they'll be all right. I worry that they're going to concede. In fact, I think they will concede. But then I look at the entire 11 for Spurs, and I think, they're going to concede. Spurs are crap at home, like really, really bad at home. And they're just crap in general. Like really, really crap in general. And I love it. If we can somehow, please win against Fulham, won't go a point behind Spurs. They stink. I'm going to say, I was a way to begin justifying my upcoming prediction. I think I have. Spurs are crap. I'm going to say Spurs 1, Palace 3. And do you know what? I'm going to add a fun prediction. I hope Brennan Johnson is man of the match. I quite like stories in football. I like a little bit of romance in football. And I also like things that are just hilarious in football sometimes. And I think if Palace go to Tottenham and win, and Brennan Johnson has the game of his life that's not in a Wales shirt, that would be incredibly funny. Now, I will only be able to enjoy it and have a chuckle if West Ham beat Fulham. But should we also lose before this game, it won't be as funny for me. But for many of you who support teams of competent football clubs, maybe you would find that entertaining. Let me know in the comments below alongside your predictions. But thank you very much for joining me here on Tartan Geo. If you've enjoyed my Premier League preview and prediction show, please don't be shy. Get involved in the comments below. Subscribing you to the channel. I'm messing this end up, haven't I? You know the score. Like, subscribe, comment. Catch you in a bit.